How do you measure growth?
The mantra around Spokane is, will it be in my life? It won't be in my lifetime.
Is it in miles of new freeway? Or the number of new houses?
More homes are going to be built up north.
Or major projects that could spur even more development?
This area that we're looking at here was a dirt parking lot.
When growth happens as fast as it has in the inland Northwest,
I think we've all seen a pretty tremendous amount of growth,
it can be difficult to keep up.
but I don't think that that's going to slow down anytime soon.
In this KREM 2 News Boomtown special, we are taking a closer look at the projects redefining our region and what this growth means for all of us who call the inland Northwest home.
It won't be in my lifetime. I can promise it'll be in a lot of lifetimes.
The inland Northwest continues to grow, and KREM 2 News is dedicated to digging deeper and bringing you more on all the changes as a part of our Boomtown coverage. I'm Tim Pham.
And I'm Channing Curtis. As we talk about Boomtown and growth, one area we've seen a big change is in rent prices. Over the past 5 years, the average rent for a one-bedroom apartment has gone up more than $350. KREM 2's Nicole Hernandez sat down with Spokane renters to see how these changes have affected them.
Hundreds of thousands of us, Spokanites, all living in separate homes in different communities. But today, I want us all to share the same seat because a lot of our community is struggling separately, but in the same ways.
Just sit here?
4 strangers walking through Riverfront Park stopped to sit here,
I'm Chris.
including Chris.
We have a one-bedroom apartment. It's just the 2 of us, so it's pretty small, and it's $1,500 a month.
Chris and his wife together make about $6,000 a month.
Yeah, we're doing all right.
Greg is also doing all right, but for a different reason.
It's a Spokane Housing Authority building, so I moved there 20 years ago, and I'm still there because the rent is so cheap.
$387 a month.
So I only have to pay less than a third a month, which is awesome.
That's the general rule. Like Greg and Chris, everyone should pay less than a third of what they make to rent.
There, haha. Okay,
But more than half of us pay more than that.
$725.
That's how much Jeffrey's rent is every month. But he only makes...
$935.
He's one of the 25% of Spokanites that pay more than half of their income to housing.
I always manage. I get food stamps. It is crazy. This whole rent is ridiculous.
Even for people who work full-time like Tyler.
I'm currently homeless. I work full-time at a local diner, and I still don't make enough of my own income to get myself housed up properly, and it's really hard.
4 random strangers. This seat, their one thing in common.
I'm one of the fortunate ones, I think.
And their stories, more common than you might think.
From renting to buying, interest rates, home prices, and a lack of inventory are some of the reasons lenders say fewer people are applying for home loans. I looked into the history of mortgage rates and how much a Spokane home will really cost you over time. Sign after sign after sign, homes for sale in Spokane. Despite what you're seeing, there's still not enough.
There's not enough homes on the market right now to be able to drive down the prices.
Troy Clute, Senior Vice President of Numerica's Home Loan Center, says climbing interest rates are causing a trickle-down effect.
So a lot of people are on the sidelines and they're just going to wait until rates start to come down before they put their house on the market. So that continues to keep inventory at a low.
If interest rates are causing sellers and buyers to hold out, the question is, are interest rates today really out of the ordinary? Rocket Mortgage has tracked interest rates since the early 70s. You may be surprised to learn rates in the past have been much higher. In the early 80s, interest rates nearly reached 13%. Then, through the early 2000s, interest rates actually hovered between 8 and 9%. It wasn't until the 2010s when we saw interest rates drop to 5% and then to as low as 3% in the early 2020s.
We have a whole generation now of people that's all they know because it's been a couple decades. And these people entering the market right now are not conditioned to those types of rates, and neither is the market.
It's this shock Jennifer Henches hears from people coming into SNAP for help buying a home.
We have a lot of people come into the home buyer education courses, and they're all enthusiastic, and when they start learning what it's going to take, they get discouraged.
The U.S. Census Bureau reports the average household income in Spokane is $64,000. For those looking to buy a home,
that income will buy you probably somewhere between a $250,000 and maybe not even $300,000 house.
This is the challenge for home buyers. New numbers from the Spokane Association of Realtors shows the median home price in Spokane as of September was $409,000. Henches says this means a household would need to make about $115,000 a year to afford a home.
The house payment for that amount at today's rates is about $3,335, which is a huge payment.
It's not just the monthly payment. Over the life of the loan, people will pay a lot more in interest. The median home price in Spokane in September of 2020 was $315,000. The interest rate then was 2.93% on a fixed loan for 30 years. So over the life of the loan, you'll pay about $473,000, and then the total in interest is $158,000. Now let's look at September of this year. In September of 2023, the median home price was $409,000 in Spokane County. The interest rate was 8.6%, around there. And then when you think about your monthly payment now, it's over $3,000. But here's the number that may surprise you. Your total payment over the life of the loan, more than $1 million.
That's not to say they can't refinance, but it does make a very big difference in what they can expect to pay over the life of the loan.
Lenders say you shouldn't bank on it and expect to pay the rate you receive for a while. The good news, homes in this market continue to appreciate in value.
So I think getting in right now and buying a home, even with a higher interest rate, you have the option of refinancing later.
SNAP offers home buyer education courses to help people navigate the process and connect them to down payment assistance programs.
It's amazing to watch people get a home when they didn't think they were going to have a home, save their home from foreclosure when they thought there was no hope.
Lenders say the days of 3% interest are behind us. It could be a while before we see rates like that again, if ever. Their best advice to home buyers: ask for help from a loan counselor and make the move when the numbers make sense for your budget.
Our Boomtown coverage next takes us to Spokane's North Bank.
They're just coming in, leaving money, and then going. Without these buildings, that money wouldn't have been here.
From the arena to the podium to One Spokane Stadium, we look closer at the millions of dollars that have been invested in the area. In our ongoing Boomtown series, KREM 2 is tracking growth around our region. Some of the biggest projects have been built just north of downtown.
That's where two new sports venues have opened up right next to each other. Brandon T. Jones shows us what it took to create this stadium district.
The Spokane Coliseum now sits in the shadow of the new arena that will take its place.
All right, before we go any further, the year is 1995. A fresh, exciting, brand new project is being introduced.
There's been a lot of memorable events in here that I'll remember for the rest of my life.
As the Coliseum faded into history, a shift in the infrastructure of the downtown North Bank began.
They've done a remarkable job.
The Spokane Arena was just a glimpse of what would come in the future. Fast forward 3 decades, and the arena's neighbors now include 2 state-of-the-art facilities.
Yeah, so if you think about it, this area that we're looking at here was dirt parking lots.
After more than 15 years of planning, the podium broke ground in 2019.
And sure enough, I mean, we're booked with track events every weekend from November through March, which is traditionally not a high tourist season in Spokane, as you can imagine.
While the podium quickly came to life, it wouldn't be long after that when a decision was made to create a downtown stadium. The arena, the podium, and One Spokane, all within yards of each other. It's a new era that the Public Facilities District is proud to have in the city. But what they're most excited about is the type of impact these projects will have on the region.
So these venues attract people from outside of our area to come in. They spend their money, they stay in a hotel, they go out to restaurants, they shop, they do all the things that you do when you travel. and then they go home. So they're not a drain on our resources. They're not a drain on the city. They're just coming in, leaving money, and then going.
This year alone, the podium has generated $65 million of economic impact. And to go along with that, it's brought in about 150,000 people just for sports-related events. Those numbers are only expected to rise on a yearly basis.
So we're just going to be constantly bringing business and new money. And that's the other thing, that $65 million is new money. Without these buildings, that money wouldn't have been here. So
from just the Coliseum, dirt parking lots, and a few straggling buildings, to now an area that could somewhat be considered a stadium district.
I don't know, I'll have to think about it. Really, I think it would be like the placemaking district.
So the name is still up for grabs, but whatever it's called, the city now has a new hub for all things events.
We're doing exactly what our goal is generate money to other entities and keeping our city vibrant.
From Spokane, Brandon T. Jones, KREM 2 News.
It's likely been the longest awaited project in Spokane's history.
The mantra around Spokane is, will it be in my life? It won't be in my lifetime.
Now, engineers see an end in sight for the North-South Freeway. We have a look at the work that still needs to be done and how it could change travel on other major roads in Spokane.
Keep up to date on our latest Boomtown stories. Download KREM 2 Plus to watch our exclusive coverage anytime on demand. KREM 2 Plus is free to download on Roku, Amazon Fire, and Apple TV.
A major milestone decades in the making. A new section of the North-South Freeway is finally open near Wellesley Avenue. Welcome back to this KREM 2 News Boomtown special. As we track growth in the inland Northwest, I'm Tim Pham.
And I'm Channing Curtis. For a long time, people have joked about how long it's taken to build the North Spokane corridor. But as Shannon Mowdy shows us, significant progress is finally being made.
For decades, a 12-minute drive from US 395 south to I-90 has been the promise on a hazy horizon.
It takes a long time to design. It takes a long time to buy the right-of-way. It takes a long time for all these processes and then construction.
But there are signs the wait for Spokane's North-South Freeway is nearing its end. A welcome sign to Terrence Lynch.
It feels wonderful, and I can't tell you how many times I hear from the public how excited they are to finally see the light at the end of the tunnel.
The project engineer who spent 8 years on the design of the North Spokane corridor.
So yeah, some of what you're looking at where we're standing, my team helped design.
About 7 miles of drivable NSC surface.
But already the focus is further down the road. For the remaining 3 odd miles of the mega project left undone.
The designers are working on the design for stage 2, which is going to complete the partial interchange at Trent, so SR 290.
It's one of 3 final phases, spanning from the Spokane River to the future connection at I-90. Part of this section near Spokane Community College is nearly done, with nods to the inland Northwest taking shape. The Spokane River crossing is also underway, expected to take a couple years. Lynch says by next year, the 3 projects should be out for construction bids. That includes the I-90 interchange.
The mantra around Spokane is, will it be in my life? It won't be in my lifetime.
The final piece of the puzzle.
I can promise
coming into place.
That it'll be in a lot of lifetimes.
Shannon Mowdy.
We're definitely charging towards a completion of this project by the year 2030.
KREM 2 News.
Once the North-South Freeway is finished, Spokane is planning changes to one of the city's busiest streets. Nathan Hyun shows us the plan for Division Street and why some are trying to stop it.
If you've driven on Division Street recently, you might have noticed he stopped the Division Road Diet billboard signs. That's because by the end of this decade, the number of lanes drivers can use on Division might change.
Now, a road diet is planned for Division Street.
This video was released by KREM Spokane back in August of this year. It points out what it calls potential flaws of the future Division Street bus rapid transit line.
Already, Division is a congested street, and this taking away 33% to 50% of the lanes is going to just make it more congested.
Larry Stone is the creator of the KREM Spokane video series.
This reduction will decrease access to local businesses.
He is a strong opponent of the so-called Division Diet. The project is expected to reduce one lane on both north and southbound lanes of Division Street for public transportation purposes. Stone says this doesn't make sense for a rapidly growing city.
More homes are going to be built up north, both in the unincorporated areas and in the city, and to make the commute more difficult and more costly and more pollution doesn't make any sense to me.
Spokane Transit Authority Chief Planning and Development Officer Carl Otterstrom says the project was first discussed back in 2010.
It's going to define the opportunities for growth and reinvestment in North Spokane.
STA wants Division Street to promote all modes of transportation, and that includes transit. STA says lanes set aside for transit to allow buses to get passengers to their destinations faster.
Division could actually degrade and be a place that people don't want to be. And so this is an opportunity to reimagine it.
Division Street sees upwards of 50,000 cars a day. But Otterstrom says the research shows once the north-south corridor is completed, that won't be the case.
Shifting part of that traffic that's on Division today to the North Spokane corridor as well as on other streets. And so that actually frees up capacity.
And the lane's purpose for transportation won't be completely cut off to the public.
In the case of the cars, though, they're focused on cars that are making turning movements in or out of the side streets.
But even with a promising future, many businesses on Division are left worried.
It's going to have a huge negative impact on businesses.
Tom Barony is the owner of the general store on Division.
Oh, go for it, go ahead.
He worries the project will hurt his business.
A lot of customers, they're going to find different ways to travel, and they'll find different shopping patterns, and they'll move on to other businesses.
Barony believes the project won't do Spokane any good.
A lot of people still have to commute within city, so I think the majority of that traffic is still going to stay even with the north-south freeway.
But for Tom and others who oppose the project, it may be too late.
Yeah, just getting everything ready for the snow.
The $200 million project is already underway.
We are beginning 30% design, which helps us really identify the costs.
The Spokane Transit Authority tells me the project could begin construction in the year 2027 and the project could be completed in the year 2030. In Spokane, Nathan Hyun, KREM 2 News.
Still ahead, we're tracking big changes underway across the border in Idaho.
I think we've all seen a pretty tremendous amount of growth, but I don't think that that's going to slow down anytime soon.
See what's next for the I-90 and State Highway 41 interchange in Post Falls, plus how the project is impacting businesses in the area. North Idaho has certainly grown over the past few years with a lot more people moving in. Now a major traffic spot in Post Falls is changing to keep things up.
But as Cody Proctor shows us, the project is impacting some of its neighbors.
Hungry? It doesn't take much for the staff at Embers by the Green in Post Falls to keep their customers happy. Just grab the dough,
add some flour. I transfer the pizza dough.
Figure out the toppings, and put it into the wood fire oven. Within minutes, it's ready to go. But owner Allison Burnett says it's their crew that makes the difference.
The crew here is wonderful. They're like the secret sauce.
But the restaurant's seen some tougher times recently, thanks to the work being done on the I-90 State Highway 41 interchange down the hill.
2023 started out for the first 6 months really strong, nice positive growth. And towards the end of July, when the construction really picked up, was when we definitely felt things slow down quite a bit.
A slowdown could stick around. Work on the $78 million project kicked off last year as part of Governor Brad Little's Leading Idaho initiative. Part of the project involves moving the interchange to the north side of I-90. According to Idaho Transportation Department spokeswoman Heather McDaniel, safety's a big reason behind the project.
This particular intersection was ranked as the 10th highest accident-prone intersection in the state of Idaho, not just in District 1 or Kootenai County, but in the entire state.
According to ITD, the interchange saw almost 300 crashes over a 5-year period. 2 of them were deadly.
That gave us a lot of concern as bumping it up as a priority on our project load to look at.
The other reason? To make more room for more drivers. ITD officials estimate traffic in this particular section of I-90 will double by 2045.
Those 2045 projections are putting us, it's looking like there's going to be probably about 111,500 cars that are utilizing this I-90 corridor every single day.
Some of the work done on the project so far includes a temporary bridge to shift traffic over so crews can work on the existing lanes. The full project's expected to be done in 2025. But McDaniel says this is only the beginning, with I-90 expansion projects stretching from Highway 41 to Coeur d'Alene and to the Washington state line in the works.
And I feel like the 41 I-90 interchange is really just kind of a centralized hub in checking all those boxes.
While she knows many drivers aren't happy dealing with the extra traffic issues, McDaniel says it's necessary to take care of the project now.
Keeping up and making sure that we're doing stuff that's going to last, not just for the next 2 years, but into the future. Trust me, we don't want to be back here redoing this project again in 5 years.
While business has slowed at Embers by the Green, Burnett says it did lead to one surprise.
We've seen an increase in our to-go sales, and I think that is almost exclusively from our Highlands community up here.
But even with the community support, she's ready for the interchange project to be done.
We're grateful with all the expansion that they're on top of it and they're working on this project, but we will be very happy when it wraps up.
Until then, order up.
Thank you for joining us for this KREM 2 News Boomtown special.
For more Boomtown coverage, be sure to download KREM 2 Plus. With it, you can watch all our latest Boomtown stories anytime on demand. KREM 2 Plus is available for free on Roku, Amazon Fire, and Apple TV. I'm Tim Pham.
And I'm Channing Curtis. Keep it here on KREM 2 News for more Boomtown coverage as we bring you the latest information about growth in the Inland Northwest.